Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're travelling from the historic Shields Road depot in Glasgow to Falkland Yard at Newton-on-Ayr, following one of Scotland's most fascinating and scenic railway routes along the Ayrshire Coast Line. This journey combines busy suburban railways, historic stations, impressive engineering, beautiful countryside, and breathtaking coastal scenery before arriving at one of Ayrshire's most important former freight locations. Our journey begins at Shields Road Depot, one of Scotland's best-known railway maintenance depots. Opened in 1967, it was built to maintain Glasgow's growing fleet of electric trains and has looked after some of Scotland's most iconic rolling stock, from the famous Blue trains to today's modern ScotRail electric fleet. For generations of railway workers, this depot has been at the heart of keeping Scotland's suburban railway moving. Leaving the depot, we immediately join the busy network at Shields Junction. This is one of the most important railway junctions in Scotland, where trains from Glasgow Central branch towards Ayrshire, Inverclyde, and the Cathcart Circle. Every day, countless passenger services pass through here, making it a fascinating place to watch the railway in full operation. As we make our way southwest, we pass the approaches to Glasgow Central, one of Britain's busiest stations. The maze of tracks, overhead wires, points and signals is an impressive sight from the driver's cab and demonstrates the complexity of operating a modern railway while still following routes first laid out by Victorian engineers. Before long, we arrive at Paisley Gilmour Street, one of Scotland's busiest stations outside the country's largest cities. For well over 175 years, this station has welcomed passengers travelling between Glasgow and the West Coast, and today it remains a vital interchange for services heading towards Ayrshire, Inverclyde, and beyond. Leaving Paisley behind, the city slowly gives way to open countryside. The pace of the journey changes as the railway begins to weave through the rolling landscapes of Renfrewshire. This section follows much of the route built by the Glasgow, Paisley, Kilmarnock and Ayr Railway during the 1830s and 1840s, making it one of Scotland's oldest mainline railways. It's remarkable to think that trains have travelled this way for almost 2 centuries. As we continue towards Johnstone, Lochwinnoch and Kilwinning, the scenery becomes increasingly peaceful. Wide open farmland, distant hills and charming villages create a wonderful contrast to the busy railway we left behind in Glasgow. This is one of those routes that looks spectacular throughout the year, whether it's bright summer sunshine, colourful autumn leaves, or a crisp winter morning. Soon we arrive at Kilwinning, one of the key railway junctions in Ayrshire. Here the line divides, with one route heading towards Ardrossan Harbour and the ferry to the Isle of Arran, while another continues towards Largs along the beautiful Firth of Clyde. Our journey continues south towards Troon and Ayr. South of Kilwinning, the views become even more spectacular. On a clear day, you can often see across the Firth of Clyde to the magnificent Isle of Arran, sometimes described as Scotland in miniature, because it contains mountains, forests, beaches and glens all on one island. Few railway journeys offer scenery quite like this. Next, we pass through the famous golfing town of Troon. Home to Royal Troon Golf Club, one of the regular venues for the Open Championship, the town has welcomed visitors arriving by train for well over a century. The harbour, beaches and surrounding coastline make this one of the highlights of the entire route. Beyond Troon, we continue towards Prestwick, another town with a rich transport history. Prestwick Airport was once Scotland's main international airport and became famous as the only place in Britain where Elvis Presley ever set foot. The railway station serving the airport is one of the few in Scotland directly connected to an airport terminal, making it an important transport hub. As we leave Prestwick behind, our train approaches Newton-on-Ayr. This area has always been an important railway location. The station opened in the 1850s and sits close to several important junctions, linking the Ayrshire Coast Line with routes towards Kilwinning and Stranraer. Although many of the old railway connections have disappeared over the years, the area remains steeped in railway history. Just beyond the station, we approach today's destination, Falkland Yard. For many decades, Falkland Yard was one of southwest Scotland's busiest freight yards. Coal, steel, petroleum products, engineering trains, and all kinds of freight passed through here, making it an important part of the region's industrial railway network. The yard attracted a remarkable variety of locomotives from across Britain, many of which were rarely seen elsewhere in Scotland. Although freight traffic gradually declined and the yard eventually closed, Falkland Yard remains a location remembered fondly by railway enthusiasts for the incredible variety of locomotives and freight trains that once worked here. Even today, you can still appreciate the scale of the railway that once existed here. The remaining sidings and railway infrastructure provide a glimpse into an era when freight traffic played a huge part in Scotland's economy and railway operations. It's places like this that remind us how important the railway has always been to the communities it serves. This entire journey perfectly showcases the diversity of Scotland's railways. We've travelled through one of Britain's busiest urban railway networks, past historic stations and junctions, crossed beautiful countryside, enjoyed magnificent coastal views, and finished at one of Ayrshire's most significant former freight locations. For railway enthusiasts, this route is simply outstanding. There's a constant variety of scenery, fascinating signalling, busy stations, historic infrastructure, and plenty of railway heritage around almost every curve. Whether you're interested in modern passenger operations, classic freight history, or simply relaxing while watching the railway unfold from the driver's perspective, this is a journey that deserves a place on every enthusiast's list. I hope you've enjoyed travelling with me today from Shields Road Depot to Falkland Yard at Newton-on-Ayr. If you've travelled this route yourself, or perhaps remember the busy days of Falkland Yard, I'd love to hear your memories in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this driver's eye view, please give the video a like, share it with your friends and fellow railway enthusiasts, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for many more railway adventures, historical features and driver's eye journeys from across Britain. Thanks again for watching, take care, and I'll see you on the next journey along the rails.